Welcome back everyone, Mariah Monetize here. In today's video, we're going to be going over the price of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is currently trading under $20,000. Going to be going over all the information when it comes to Silicon Valley Bank and other banks, stocks that are down tremendously. Going to be going over the jobs report. We know that Jay Powell wasn't going to make any decisions on interest rate hikes until we had that hard data when it comes to job reports. So let's get into it. The three stocks down 20+% today are Silicon Valley Bank, First Republic Bank, and Signature Bank. We are on the verge of the second largest bank collapse in US history and the largest since 2008. So US bank stocks exceed 100 billion in lost market cap over the last 24 hours alone. Bank stocks are now set for their worst weekly performance since June of 2020. Meanwhile, the US bank stocks are down 20% plus today, and these banks alone have over 500 billion in deposits. So Silicon Valley Bank has actually hired advisors to seek a sale, breaking South Dakota governor vetoed bill that would have excluded Bitcoin and crypto from the definition of money. Breaking, the US economy adds 311,000 jobs in February, and that is actually above expectations of $205,000. The unemployment rate hit 3.6%, while wages increased 0.2%. Inflation is far more out of control than the Fed expected. Prepare for a Fed pivot from hawkish to even more hawkish. So we obviously know that we want to stay away from traditional banks. I don't keep much in traditional banks. Here's a crazy story. So my friend was telling me that there's always so many fees when it comes to reporting, tax filings, all those things in Puerto Rico. What they were actually doing was they were automatically deducting from people's banks here in Puerto Rico that did not file on time. They were just automatically withdrawing. So my CPA was like, keep nothing in your Puerto Rico bank, because they are just going to take money without giving you any notice at all, or even giving you the opportunity to pay your fees, which is absolutely insane. So we know, not your keys, not your coins. Obviously, you want to stay away from keeping your coins at exchanges. And for me, I also stay away from keeping my US dollars in banks. So Silicon Valley Bank is getting worse. Customers are trying to pull millions of dollars out of their accounts, and they actually can't. Online banking and mobile services are showing unavailable for some customers. The stock is down 60% pre-market. So a pretty unbelievable scenario there. So Silicon Valley Bank is a bank that deals with a lot of venture capital startups. So that's what we're seeing there. US government files appeal to block Binance US from acquiring bankrupt crypto lender Voyager Digital Assets for $1 billion. So we know the judge approved this transaction, but now we're seeing the government filing to appeal and to block that transaction from actually taking place. So rumors emerge that SBV faces interest rate risk on $91 billion in bonds, and SVB announces the fire sale of $21 billion bond portfolio. Bond portfolio sale takes a massive $1.8 billion loss. SVB announces 2.3 billion share sale to cover bond losses. And now a bank run is happening, of course, as account holders cash out balances above 250,000, because that's obviously the FDIC insurance thresholds. So what else do we have here? Coinbase, Robinhood, Kraken, and others could face lawsuits for potential security laws violation. So what we're kind of anticipating is the potential for the SEC to deem altcoins as securities, Ethereum, everything else. It's looking pretty good that that will not happen for Bitcoin, as Bitcoin is obviously not a security. And just to sparkle some spice in there, I love this tweet. My portfolio is down 5%, but I am up 5 margaritas. Perfectly hedged. Happy Thursday, but happy Friday. I might do the same today. Just in, President Biden calls for a 30% tax on all electricity used to mine Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. So we're seeing Biden come out. He wants to increase capital gains taxes. He wants to tax the rich more. He wants to now even add a tax onto mining Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. What is that going to do? Why would anyone want to mine here in the United States when they can just move operations elsewhere? So it's just going to put the US in a position. This is how it's going to take place. First, they might try to crack down on cryptocurrency, Bitcoin related businesses, tax them more. That money is going to go out. It's going to be sourced outside of the States because who wants to actually operate in a not friendly taxable jurisdiction, right? So then what's going to happen is like, oh wow, like some of the richest people in the world are going to be in the crypto Bitcoin space. The government wants wealth in its country. That's just tax revenue, tax dollars. And so eventually they're going to take it down when it comes to the taxes and try to attract the business back. Other countries are like, excellent, that's perfect. Do you want a tax? Well, we're gonna offer better tax incentives if you wanna start mining Bitcoin in our country. So liquidity is disappearing all around the board. S&P 500 lost 600 billion in 2 hours. The crypto market's down 40 billion today. 4 biggest US banks down 50 billion today. Bond markets trading like meme stocks. All the buyers are gone as inflation is here to stay. Silvergate execs sold more than 103 million in company stock at the top. KuCoin crypto exchange sued by New York's Attorney General. Let's see here. Bitcoin in Nigeria is 60% more expensive. We obviously know their currency is extremely volatile, hyperinflation, and so that's why Nigeria, Bitcoin is so popular. So here is some interesting data when it comes to Facebook parent company Meta. Reported 4.2 billion restructuring change, annual costs up a record 22% to 26 billion. Reported 13.7 billion loss on Reality Labs. They fired over 20% of employees and they authorized 40 billion in stock buybacks. Just in, President Biden calls for 5.5 trillion in tax increases over the next decade. And here is a summary of Biden's tax changes. This is sickening. Raise capital gains tax from 20% to 39.6%, and that is the highest since 1978. Top tax rate raised from 37% to 39.6%. Corporate tax rate raised from 21% to 28%. Self-employment tax raised from 3.8% to 5%. Increase IRS funding by 15% on top of the 80 billion from the Inflation Reduction Act. 25% minimum tax rate on households with 100 million plus net worth. Elimination of tax break for crypto investors. Elimination of carried interest tax break and an increased stock buyback tax from 1% to 4%. That is insanely steep. So the new jobs report is 10.8 million job openings and 5.7 million available workers. FTX lawyers and advisors billed 38 million in February, but they recovered 384 million in crypto between January 17th and March 1st. Not a bad ROI for FTX customers. And this is just a video basically from 2 days ago with Jay Powell saying, hey, like, we have important data coming, including the jobs report on Friday, which is today. And then next week is CPI and PPI. And so he's not interested in making any decisions until he has that information. So, Binance CEO says they do not have any losses from Silvergate Capital shutdown and all funds are safe. So that's pretty much what we're seeing there when it comes to news. And before I get into the price of Bitcoin, I quickly want to mention iTrust Capital. iTrust Capital is a platform that you can use to buy Bitcoin within retirement accounts. You can also transfer your existing retirement account over to iTrust Capital. You only need $1,000 to get started. Imagine buying Bitcoin now, withdrawing when you're 59.5 and paying 0 taxes on that gain. That is massive, a huge value. I have a link down below for you to get $100 in free Bitcoin today. Bitcoin sitting at just under 20,000 at $19,980. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the 7-day chart on Bitcoin. We are actually getting extremely close to this crossover here, this green crossing below the red. And if that happens, I anticipate for Bitcoin to go significantly lower. Bitcoin is getting held up by this 100 and 200 DMA. So let's go and take a look here at the daily chart. Daily chart looking weak, but being held up here by this DMA. Obviously, it has wicked below, but that is acting as a line of support. So a little bit of a bounce off of that current support, but we don't see a momentum shift that's really significant on the daily chart that would have me interested in buying. I would like to see a clear shift to jump back in on Bitcoin. I do believe that we are going lower. I don't know if we're going to go below the previous lows of 15,500, but we're definitely going below 19,000 in my opinion. I mean, I would say like I'm 90% confident that that's happening. As I've been saying to you guys for the past weeks, I just didn't really buy the bounce that we saw to 25,000. And obviously Bitcoin was shut down by that point because there was a lot of resistance there. And so I am staying patient. There's no reason to rush in with the state of the economy. Oh yeah, like no chance that I am rushing in to be buying Bitcoin with the current price action. Absolutely not. So this is the 30-minute chart here looking okay. I mean, this just isn't enough for me. Not even close. We need a lot more to play out. We have Ethereum at 14.15. We have gold sitting at 18.62. Gold is actually having a decent day. We have Coinbase down 7% today to 54.19. We have, let's see, we have DOT sitting at 5.46. We have Link sitting at 6.19. And we have XTZ sitting at 99 cents. We also have, let's see here, Matic sitting at 103. And Celsius coin is down significantly, 20% down to 35 cents. Let's go ahead and take a look here at traditional stocks. We have SPY sitting at 390. Let's go ahead and zoom out to the hourly chart here on SPY. So SPY is broken below all of these DMAs, and we're seeing a ton of weakness. It's obviously made a lower low on the daily chart, a lot of weakness on SPY. So across the board, obviously correlation, I would like to see momentum shift on both traditional markets, SPY specifically, Bitcoin, before I would consider jumping back in. So let's go and take a look here over at marijuana stocks. Marijuana stocks are also not doing too good today. We have mostly red across the board. We have Tilray sitting at 245. Massive buying opportunities happening. My mind's turning. What am I going to liquidate so that I can be positioned correctly to buy up as much Bitcoin as possible? That is what I am currently looking to do. Let's take a quick look over at Tesla. Tesla at 176. Weakness here on the daily, but being held up here by that DMA. Let's take a look here at the hourly on Tesla. Not looking too good. Just a ton of weakness across the board. There's a lot of fear in the markets. And so time to stay patient, time to figure out what you can liquidate to have cash on the sidelines, because the time is now. Buying opportunities are getting closer every single day, and you want to be positioned correctly. You do not want to look back on this period of time and regret not taking full advantage of these buying opportunities. I still think that in the next 10 years, Bitcoin could easily go to 500K, and you do not want to be on the sidelines when that happens. And so acquiring as many Satoshis as you can. One thing you could do, Fold app, okay? I have a link down below if you want to get started with the Fold app. It's like something you could do every day that you gain some Satoshis, and it's free. So I've already spun my wheel in the last 20 hours, but basically you spin a wheel. Sometimes you get 5 Satoshis, sometimes you get 25. It's nothing crazy, but why not? Stack Satoshis, be focused. If you can't buy a whole Bitcoin, just focus on Satoshis. Stacking in small quantities, it all will add up by the end of the day. Stay so focused on that. If you want to do a 30-minute call with me, I have a link down below for that. That's all that I have for you today. As always, go out there and create a portfolio that you love.